This 1962 Studebaker was bought by the previous owner to restore. Instead of a restoration, it was parked under a tree for years. Today, I'm going to see if I can get this old thing running. Come on along for the ride, it's going to be fun. I'm way out there. Quite a bit farther from home than I thought it would be. But sometimes you read an ad and the town is actually different than what the ad says. But anyway, I'm heading out there to get this cool old Studebaker. I know very little about it. It's the owner's sister that's selling it. So I hope to learn more when I get there, but I know it's been sitting a very long time. Whew. Well, it's loaded. Whew, it's hot. I don't know how hot it is in the sun, but in the shade it's 94. But it's loaded. A few other parts fell off and there was a snake under it, but it didn't bother me and I didn't bother it. So off we go. It's about two and a half hour ride home. Let's see how these tires take air. Coming up. Don't know how long it will hold, but it's coming up. I only need it to hold till it gets off the trailer. Okay, that's one. Is this back one flat? Yep. Uh-oh. Don't think this one's gonna hold air. See that? Yeah. I may swap that one on the trailer. And this one doesn't look too promising at all. Well, it is coming up. I don't want to get too close to it. Certainly coming up enough to roll. Yeah, that's about as far as I'm going to push it. Super. And the other one's not flat. So we got one tire. Yeah, we got one tire. It's going to be a problem. I think I'll change it right on the trailer. Well, I got one. These are really seized on there. Two. Ooh, one more and it just won't budge. That's all of them. I'm pretty sure these were put on with the wrong nuts, which led to some of the problem in getting these off. That moves, so that's good. And that's that. There's no drive shaft in this thing, so I can't stop it once it gets rolling. No brakes either, of course. So I'm just going to use the winch cable to winch it down, and hopefully it can roll forward to about here, and I'll just pull the trailer out from under it. Okay, that's not going to work. This front tire is basically just blew up on the inside. I've run into a snag. Last nut on this front wheel, when you spin the nut, watch what happens. Well, take my word for it, it's hard to do. Hard to do holding the phone, but what's happening is the whole stud is spinning. So, I'm gonna try heat, see if I can separate it enough from the stud that it'll come off, because there is a little bit of tension. I like to wear safety glasses whenever using heat, just because something might pop. You know, a piece of rust or something might pop, and I sure don't want that get me in the eye. No go. That didn't work at all. Okay, time for the grinder. You know, I could fire up the oxyacetylene and cut this. It's very tempting. But it'll ruin what's left of this wheel if I do that. Well, I'm gonna try cut it, just grinding it first. If that doesn't work, I'll have to cut it. I got it. Got it out, stud's okay. Rim really is just barely damaged at all, so we're good. Let's take a look at this thing. I've only had a cursory view of this because I had to load it up and get out of there so quickly. So I am seeing it the same time you are. So this should be very interesting. Let's do it. So right off the bat, obviously, the headlights, the retaining rings, and the decorative surrounds are missing. A couple of the headlights are actually under the car, and I've got those. It looks like it's got an original hood ornament here. That's kind of cool. It's clear. That's neat. It was probably an emblem in there years ago. The hood looks straight. And it's got this weird circle here. Maybe there was a paint can or something sitting there for years. Looks like somebody primered it gray over red primer. And it looks like maybe the car was originally white all over. Not much paint left. Let me get this hood up and I'll get back to you. Oh man, look at that. Rat City. I hope that rat is still not in there because this is now in my shop. That's not a mouse, and it's not a squirrel. That looks like rat. And look at it, it's right over even where the dipstick is. That's a real bad sign. I also noticed that the radiator's missing. That's a huge bummer. And it wasn't stolen, right? Someone left the bolts here, so it was taken out. And it was a long time ago. Those bolts are frozen in place. Let's see what it looks like under here. Well, not too terrible from what I can see, but of course I can't see a lot. But there's a lot of bad signs here. Obviously that. But look at this. What is this? A piece of old jeans material or cloth or something? And look at how bad that carb is. There is all kinds of dirt dauber junk down there. That's probably going to have to come off before I do anything. Yeah, this is nasty, whatever this is. Somebody's half-hearted attempt to keep stuff out of there failed. Let's see if the linkage is frozen. I'm sure it is. I can't believe it. It's not frozen. I am shocked by that. What is this? Oh, it's a can of something. Oh, that's neat. It's got a ball in it, so it must have been paint. Huh. Maybe that was the gray primer. Oh, this is a transmission dipstick. How convenient. You know, Studebaker did smart stuff like that. Put the transmission dipstick in a place where people can actually get to it. Wow. It stinks. I don't know what kind of fluid this takes, but that's not red. That is brown. Fuel pumps here. What are your bets on whether this is seized or not? Let's try it. I think I already know the answer. Oh man, you see that? It moved. It moved. Wow. Talk about a shock. That's great. That is great. The chances of this running just went up. So I got to clean all this junk out of here, but I'll do that after we do the walk around. The body is pretty straight on this thing. It may or may not come through on camera, but if you look down the side, I can't see a dent in it. Really, I can't. Look at the Lark emblems here. You can just barely see them. They're pretty small and the K is broken, but this thing's kind of hanging in the breeze. But it's a neatly styled mirror. The glass on this side is good. This inside, there's a lot going on in here. Let's put it that way. But it's mostly here. There's an armrest on the floor. But that doesn't belong with the car. This was actually underneath it. So I thought it might be with the car, but it's not. Some hubcaps. Aren't those neat? Old Studebaker hubcaps. Surprised that they're in here, given it had aluminum wheels on it. I don't know what this big heavy thing is. What is that? It is heavy, heavy, heavy. It must be, I don't know what that is. It's super heavy. I thought first maybe it was the cover to a pot, but it's too heavy. Big hole in the floor there. Looks like that's where the gas pedal was. Oh, look at that. Studebaker Packard. Huh. They only did that a few years, calling it Studebaker Packard. I didn't think 62 was one of those years that they did that. Steering appears to be somewhat tight. Let's look at the radio. Oh, look at that cool radio. It says Studebaker right on it. Wouldn't that be neat if that still worked? It's got a temp and a fuel gauge, an oil and an amp light. Oh, the key's in it. Yay! The key is in it, and it turns. Oh, that's huge. I'm liking this. Now here's the air filter housing, so why didn't they put this on the car? Why leave this off the car and use a rag to cover the carburetor? I don't get that. What else is in here? Ugh. Some boxes of parts. Oh, there's a water pump. Looks like it's new. Another headlight. So that makes 3 of the 4 headlights. This box of... Oh, jackpot. Jackpot. Those are the the headlight surrounds. And the directional plastic, more headlights, the retainer rings. Look at that. All in a box. Oh, that's huge. That is fantastic. I am pumped about that. The spider. This thing goes here. Why wouldn't you put that on? Oh, that is great. That might be one of the first things I do. Make it look a little better. So I'll be motivated more. That is great news. Now here's some bad news going to the back. Obviously I put this here. When I started pulling this onto the trailer, I did not realize the drive shaft had been disconnected. And it caught on the trailer and bent like a pretzel. That is a major bummer. But I'm told drive shaft for these Studebakers are not hard to get. So that makes me feel a little better. But if you look at this, somebody looked like they were trying to get the rear end out of it. This is the shock mount right here. And this is U-bolts that go around the axle and hold the axle to the leaf spring. And that was just on the ground. So something's going on with that rear end. Someone started to pull it out. Don't know why. It's still in. But I don't know why they did that. Does this open? It does. Okay. Whoa, big hole in the floor there. Big one. We'll check that out later. The windshield does have a... Looks like maybe something hit it right there. Looks like started those cracks. Even the wipers are still here. Let's look in that trunk. There's no lock, so I gotta get a screwdriver. All right, what do we got here? I'm gonna have to get a flashlight. I can't tell what's going on in here. It doesn't look like a conventional lock mechanism. So this is gonna take me a minute. I'll get back to you. Yeah, it's not a conventional lock mechanism. I just stuck the screwdriver in and raised it. And that unlocked it. Okay, what do we have here? Well, here's the trunk lock. That's nice. Old four-way. What's this? Lube ball. Never heard of that. Wonder if there's a way to date this can. I guess not. It does look pretty old. But the original mat is still here. A hose with the original clamps. Boy, that is in bad shape, that hose. I gotta be careful what I grab. There's all kinds of spiders in here. Look at these old Autolite plugs. Look at the size of the word Autolite. Wow. Neat. And they're in good, they were probably new. Looking at the inside, it looks like they were new. But not much to note really in here. Some seat belts, a scissor jack, and some raccoon poop right there. Yeah. To me, this is a neat looking tail. Almost Fordish with these round tail lights, but the backup light underneath, the shape of the bumper, it's cool. I like the tail of this better than I like the front. These must look really neat in their day. This side is also pretty straight. I see some very minor dings here in the door, right there, but it's straight. This car was pretty nice before it was parked. Really too nice to have been abused like that. I'm hopeful the rat's gone, but I can't be sure. So I'm gonna be a little bit careful doing this. Here's what we ended up with. Looks a lot better. Here's the starter. Looks like it's sealed. It doesn't have that band that some Fords do to let junk in. The coil, distributor cap, vacuum advance, generator, plugs. It's all accessible now. So, what am I gonna do first? I'm gonna pull the plugs, take a look at those cylinders, see what I'm dealing with here. Since it's not seized, I'd love to try to spin this around twice, but I want to get a little bit of oil in those cylinders first. I was hoping there was a V8 in here. There is not. It's a 6 and it looks really small. I'm going to have to look up what the size of this 6 really is, but it's overhead valve, which it should have been by 62. And it's got the signature Studebaker yellow valve cover color. That's factory. The V8s were the same way. I've got all the plug wires marked. I always do that, even though on this it's real easy to tell what goes where because the wires are like mummified in place. And the holes have all been blown out because there was all kinds of junk residing in there. So I'm about to pull the first one. This was not super tight, but it wasn't loose either. It was just the right amount. Plug looks good. It looks really good. Kind of a surprise. Looks really, really good. And these are newer Autolites than what was in the trunk. All right, I can't wait to take a look at this cylinder. I'm gonna grab the scope. So this is number 1. And you can see, I think that thing you're looking at, it's not rust. I think that's a bug, a dead bug, a large one. There's a lot of carbon in here. That's that black. I don't see any rust, but the piston is near the top, so it's kind of hard to tell. But nothing concerning there really. So let's move on to number 2. Plug looks amazing. No concern there. Let's take a look at the cylinder. This one's way down in the cylinder. See that? That's the piston way down there. And this is the cylinder wall. And it looks really, really nice. Look at that. It looks wonderful. Clearly, this piston, the valves are closed. Because given that carburetor being open like that, some moisture had to get in. Number 3 plug looks good too. And it looks like a carbon copy in the cylinder of number 2. Maybe a hair bit of rust, but it's also way down, but it looks really good. So far, it's clear to me why this engine's spinning. I just don't think I'm gonna get lucky with all 6. That would be crazy with this carb just having that towel over it. Number 4, also down in the cylinder. Look at how nice that is. It is hard to believe that this engine has been sitting with the hood partially up and just a towel over the carb. You know, there's a tiny bit of rust there, as you can see, but nothing super concerning. So to speed things up, I took 5 and 6 out at the same time. And look at 6. That's not looking as good. Lots of rust around the threads. Now that might mean nothing. I'll find out momentarily. But if you look at the others, none of the others have that rust. So I'm willing to bet that number 6 has an open valve. But let's look at 5 first. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Here's the last one. All right, we got rust. And it's near the top. So I can't see just how much rust we have, but I know we've got some. Yeah, it's really close to the top. But it's not super concerning. So I'm going to put some mystery oil in each cylinder, but I'm going to put a lot in number 6, but the rest I'm not going to put too much. They just don't need it. And then we'll go about seeing if this will spin 2 revolutions. If it gives me any grief at all, I'm going to pull the valve cover. In fact, I think I'm going to stick the scope in the valve cover now and take a look around. Okay, that's not going to work. There's a baffle right there. So you can't stick a scope in there. Mystery oil's in every cylinder. I'm going to let it sit for a bit before I go cranking away on that pulley. Just let it sink in. Even though we don't see any rust, it doesn't mean that there's not rust, some kind of corrosion around the rings. And the mystery oil will seep in there and help me out with that. So for now, just going to let it sit. Maybe I'll fix this battery cable. It's completely shot. Really needs to be replaced. While I'm under here, I'm going to oil the alternator. What does that mean? These old alternators can be oiled. They actually have caps. There's one of them right there that flip up like that. And you put a few squirts of oil in there. There's one in the front here and the one in the back I just showed you. I'm going to oil those up. I'm sure those bearings are dry. And this generator is certainly something that I don't want to have to replace. I just have a sneaky feeling it's going to work. It's going to charge. The mystery oil has been soaking now about 4 hours. I'm going to start trying to move the engine back and forth, and see if it sticks at all, with the intention of going around this way twice. If it sticks at all, this is coming off. I can tell that mystery oil has had an effect. This is turning really, really easy, a lot easier than it was. It's pretty insane, really. Oh yeah. If this starter's any good, it will have no problem turning this engine. We're good. I haven't done this yet because it was covered with stuff. What's the oil look like? It's full, and it's not terrible. It's black, but it's not terrible. I don't see any evidence of water. No, I don't smell any evidence of water either. It just smells like old oil. So I think what I'm going to do is make sure there's no water in the pan by just dropping the drain plug for a sec. And if there's no water in the pan, I'm going to see if the starter will turn this over. Happy to report there's no water in the oil whatsoever. The oil is not sludgy. It's dirty, but not sludgy. And I can see a little bit of mystery oil in there. You probably can't see that on camera, but I can see it. So the mystery oil went past the rings, which is a good thing. So before I turn this thing over, I'm going to replace this cable. It's interesting, this connector here on the cable was just hanging there. It wasn't attached to anything. I wonder what that's for. Some Studebaker expert will have to tell me that. It was there just like that. Here's the starter solenoid, and it was hanging on there just like that, with this thing just hanging in the breeze. But yeah, this cable is junk, so I'm putting this one on. I think this should be long enough. The nut and washer that came off the solenoid are quite rusted. So what I do on these is just put them on some sandpaper, sand them back and forth, and it cleans them right up. Just helps the connection that little bit. When turning an engine over, every amp helps. So I'm going to do that and get back to you. So the new cable, or the new used cable, is in. The battery is in. And I'm just cleaning up the connections now. And we're going to do the touch test, which means just touch the battery and see if we get any sparks. If the key's on, and I haven't checked if it is or it isn't, it's okay to get some sparks. If the points are closed, you should get some sparks. But if the key's off, and this car doesn't, I don't think, has a clock, then you shouldn't get any spark. What could a spark be? Well, it could be something shorted out that's going to cause a fire. So when you do the touch test, you also look for smoke. Let's try this test, see if we get any spark. No spark at all. No noises. All right, let's see what happens with the key. We've got a couple of lights on the dash. That's good. Let's see if it turns over. Nothing. Okay, not shocked about that. Oh! Woohoo! Beautiful. Okay, it didn't turn over at first because the shift level wasn't perfectly in park. Well, that spun over real nice. It blew out some of the Marvel Mystery Oil. That is great news. We are making progress. It's a beautiful Tennessee night here tonight. Such a great time to be working on this Studebaker. Not too cold, not too hot. You know, take a trip down memory lane. Do you remember working on cars at night like this? So rarely do you get the perfect night, and you're just working away and it's quiet and you hear the bugs in the background, and it's just such a great feeling sometimes to be working on old cars like this. I mean, I really appreciate when we get nights like this and I have something cool like this Studebaker to work on. Hopefully you can identify with that. I think you can. So I've got the battery hooked up, and I'm gonna see what we have for electrical stuff that works in this car. Obviously not the headlights yet, but I will be putting them in. But let's see if we got, whoops. Let's see if we have dash lights and stuff like that. No, I don't see any dash lights, but that could be the dimmer switch. Fan switch here. Might need the key on for that. Let me try it. Okay, the key's a little funky, it seems. Ooh, let's try the radio. The radio is actually already on. I don't see anything out of it. That's interesting. So when this was parked, the radio was on. Nothing. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe a directional stalk. Oh, wow, look at the green light. See the green light there? That's cool. Yeah, the shift indicator has a light. That is cool. See that? Neat. I'm liking this Studebaker more and more. Let's check the tail lights just for kicks. I don't expect that they'll actually work. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. That's a big surprise. I did not expect it. Turn it over a little bit more. Get that mystery oil out, and then we're going to call it a night. So that's all for tonight. We made some good progress. Given the limited amount of time I had to work on this today, I'm pretty happy with where we are. But we will see you again tomorrow. It's a new day with a lot of optimism. Sporting my vintage What the Rush Jeep t-shirt and hoping for success with this Studebaker. The next thing on the list is this carburetor. It's got to come off because it's got dirt daubers down inside of the throat that I can't clean just with a vacuum. So that's what we're going to do. Start by removing this disgusting thing on it and then diving in. It's a very interesting carb on this car. I've never seen one quite like it. It's a one barrel, but a fairly decent size one barrel. It's got a gas line here that needs to be disconnected. And somewhere buried amongst these dirt daubers and such are some bolts. There's one right here. So I would assume there's one on the other. Yep, there it is. Okay. This is probably going to be pretty simple to remove. So I'm going to get this out and I will get back to you. Almost out. Just one more nut. Be real interesting what I'm going to find in here. I may have to take the top of the carb off, which I really don't want to do. I don't have a rebuild kit for this. I don't even know, looking at it, what kind of carb this is. I'll find out when I get it off. But I may have to. I may have to do that. But I'm hoping it's all in the throat of the carb. Unfortunately, the bowl vent is right here. And it looks full too. So I'm probably going to have to take this carb apart. No worries. But if you have an old car sitting in your backyard, in your garage, whatever, right after this video, go out and make sure the air filter housing is on it. With the element inside. Without the element, it doesn't help all that much. And you'll prevent this type of thing from happening. Looks pretty good down there. Can't really see it, but... Oh no, well, I'm gonna have to get the vacuum in there. It's not terrible, really, it's not a nest, it's just droppings from the nest. Yeah. This is not bad. That's why the throttle wasn't stuck. You know, it's dirt or mud daubers, and it's mostly dirt, not rust. So I'll take that any day, but this needs a thorough cleaning. So I'm going to start to work on this now. And now I'm on the hunt for a base gasket. What is this all about here? Huh. This plate, does it have a base gasket on top of it? It must. So I'm pretty sure I've got these base gaskets. But let me vacuum that out first. This is the old carb gasket. Looks like it's in decent shape, but obviously not reusable. This is one I had. Went to a swap meet this past weekend. There were 4 of these clipped together for $1, sitting on the dollar table of this vendor. and it's the exact one I need. And this is a super high quality gasket. So I'm going to use it. I knew I'd need it. I knew I would use it when I found it, 4 for $1. And here we are, just a few days later, I'm using it. So I'm going to drop that on, and we'll go from there. This guy is ready to go. Doesn't look the best, but it's clean. This is pretty amazing. Hopefully you can see that. Even the accelerator pump works. See that when I press the accelerator pump? It's squirting gas through. So that's awesome. Carburetor's in. Looks good. That choke, I'm gonna have to figure out. I don't know if that's gonna cause a vacuum leak being wide open like it is. I don't think so, but it's certainly not a good thing. But that's not gonna keep us from starting this car. Next is the fuel. I could run gravity feed right to here, but I'm gonna get ambitious in thinking that the fuel pump will actually work. And this is it right here, and it's got this line attached, this hose attached to it that's not even clamped. And basically goes nowhere. So someone at some point in the past must have thought of putting a makeshift fuel system in this. But I'm going to finish the job. So I'm going to just get a piece of line from my tank and run it right down there. Get the fuel pump diaphragm wet, and then hopefully it starts to pump. So I've got this tank set up is my gas tank. And what I'm doing is I'm going to open the shutoff valve to allow some gas down into the fuel pump. That will help lubricate the diaphragm in the pump. And I'm just going to let it sit like that. The valve is now off. I'm going to let it sit like that while I mess with the points. It just gives the fuel pump a better chance of working and not ripping the diaphragm when I try to start the car. Now, I'm fully expecting to find a bit of a mess under this cap, given how buried it was in the rat's nest. But let's find out. I wanted to mention that my friend Bill from the Flat Broke Garage YouTube channel fell off a roof recently and hurt himself. He'd really appreciate it if you'd check out his channel and keep him active in the YouTube algorithm. Best of luck with your recovery, Bill. There. Okay. It's not bad at all. Let me show you all. That's under the cap. Look at that. It looks amazing. There's the rotor, the condenser. The points are on the other side of the rotor. It looks good. So this cap really sealed this off well. Let's see what the cap underneath looks like. It's probably good too. These wires are like... Yeah, that's pretty good too. I mean, it's worn, it's been used, but it's not junk. Yep. Still got some spring action in the pin. So this is all salvageable. I'm going to go ahead and clean these points. I'm concerned about these plug wires though. They essentially don't bend. They're like almost like steel line. So I may have to do something about that. I'm sure I've got wires around for a Chevy 6 that would fit this real nice. But on to the points first. So there's an extreme close-up of the ignition points. See those two white contacts? They're very corroded. They're not supposed to be white. These right here. So they're super corroded, but I'll clean them up and get them looking good. That's a better picture of them being white. So I'll clean them up, a little bit of sandpaper or emery cloth, and get them sparking. The points are now clean. I sanded them with a little sandpaper and followed it up with contact cleaner, so they're super clean. Now we have to test them. I'm going to briefly explain what it is we're doing when we attempt to test points. This is a set of points. They're all pretty much the same. And the two contact points are what we're cleaning. See, as I move this, those two contact points there. And we need to test them by seeing if spark occurs when they're opened. But what we're really testing for is continuity. Are these points clean enough so that electricity can pass through them? That spark is merely telling us that yes, electricity was there, and as we pulled the points apart, it sparked. So this is not a spark that's related to the spark at the spark plugs. That's very, very different. Think of these points, as being what signals the coil to fire the plugs. Think of it that way. When these points open, the coil gets a signal, in simple terms, to send electricity through the distributor to the spark plugs. So these need to be able to pass electricity. And that's what we're actually checking for when we check for spark at the points. Ordinarily, I check for spark at the points just by turning the key on and separating the points. But this ignition switch is a little bit funky, as you saw yesterday. So what I'm going to do is just send 12 volts directly to the points. And I do that via sending 12 volts to the positive side of the coil and then connect to the battery, like that. Now, if the points are in a position where they're closed, then when I open them, they should spark. And if they're in a position where they're open, then I need to move the engine a little bit to get them to a point where they're closed. Now I'm concerned I don't see any spark here, so the points may in fact be open. No, I think they're closing. We are not on the high point of this cam. Okay, we got some spark down here. See, one of the problems is I'm using a steel screwdriver, which kind of shorts out the connection. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything at the points. So I'm just going to pull the engine just a little bit. See if we get spark here now. Nope. We know my 12 volt connection is working down here because it's sparking when I touch this. But these points are not sparking at all. Oh, maybe. There they go. Okay, I don't know if that comes through on camera, but they are sparking. So we have continuity through the points, which is what we need. We are in good shape. I'm going to put the rotor back on and the cap back on. Clean up the cap a bit and then put that back on. All right, so the rotor's back on. Notice the rotor's got a point off to the right. What that's doing is taking the electricity that comes out of the coil and sending it to whatever plug is supposed to fire at that time. So this rotor just spins around, and whenever the coil fires where the rotor is, you fire that spark plug. The distributor's back together. I'm going to turn this engine over one more time in case there's any more mystery oil that's settled in the cylinder. I just want to make sure it's blown out. And by turning it over a bit, that will do that. And it's pretty much, there was a little bit in there, I think in number 4, but it's fine. So now I'm going to check the gap on the plugs and then reinstall the plugs. One thing I haven't talked about yet with respect to points is point gap. Essentially the gap between the points when they're open. That's pretty important because the points have to be closed a certain amount of time, and that time that they're closed is called dwell. And if the dwell is wrong, then it affects the timing, the spark timing of the engine, because you're telling the coil to fire at a very slightly different time than it should be. Now it's measured in thousandths and you use a feeler gauge for it. And essentially you just bring the engine to the top of the cam and the distributor so that the points are open at their widest point. And then you insert the feeler gauge and see if it's set right. And there's an adjustment inside the distributor that's a little screw that you adjust if it's not. I have no reason to believe these are wrong, set wrong, but I'm going to check them anyway. It's just helpful that that be right when you're trying to start an old engine and run an old engine, because it is, on these old point systems, it's a pretty important component of the ignition system. So I've got the feeler gauge out, put it on 16, And I've got the points set up so that they're on the high side of the cam. This is the cam here, the distributor cam, and it's got points on it. And you want the rubbing block of the points to be right up against the high side of the cam so that the points are open all the way. And you just insert the feeler gauge between the 2 points, which is hard to do when you hold the phone, but it's right on 15, 16. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm not gonna change it. That was pretty hard to show on the phone. I couldn't get the feeler gauge in there straight, so it looked like it was actually opening the points with the feeler gauge, but it wasn't. It's just because the feeler gauge wasn't straight on. It's gotta be really dead on straight to the points in order to make sure that you're testing the gap correctly. As I clean and check the gap on these plugs, I can see what an amazing condition they are. They have almost no miles on them. So someone changed these shortly before the car was parked for whatever reason. And maybe it means that the car was kept up with maintenance. I'll never know for sure, but these don't need changing, not even close. They look great. I think the next thing we're gonna try is, will it kick? We're gonna put some gas in it and see what happens. This is a big moment. All right, we're nearly ready to go. That thing there is called a spark checker. Just goes in line to the plug from the plug wire. That will tell me if we're getting spark to the plugs. It's a cheap and easy way to do it. I've got my trigger hooked up because I don't want to be sitting inside using the key, so this allows me to bypass the key. And because I'm not totally convinced of the quality of that ignition switch, this is running right to the coil. I'm going to touch it to here, and that way we will have ignition source as well. So I'm going to fill up the bowl first of the carburetor and just give it a little bit down the throat, just to see if we can get it to kick off. So I'm filling up the bowl of the carb, which basically means I'm using this little gas can here to fill the bowl, which think of the bowl as like a storage area for gas in the carb before it goes into the engine. So I'm just putting some gas in there so that if it does kick off, it'll be able to draw some fuel before the fuel pump starts firing. And then I'm just going to give it a little squirt down the throat and see what happens. Certainly turn it over, but I'm getting no spark. No spark here. I can't see any spark here, so. Oh, there we go. Now I get it. So it must have just been a bad connection there. So I'm going to jump over here to the carb and start to mess with the throttle position. And I'm going to hold the throttle open a bit this time and see if that helps. And it helped. It helped. Woo! Okay, it kicked. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but it means that ignition's working. We've got some level of compression, and I think this thing's going to run. So I'm going to formally hook the fuel supply up and then try it again. You ready for take 2? I certainly am. Let me put these on just in case something blows back through the carb or through some dirt gets caught in the fan or whatever. Now, we've lost spark again. So I wonder if my connection here is still messed up. Okay, I need to look at that. Okay, that was anticlimactic. I'll get back to you. Okay, something's up because we've lost spark and it doesn't appear to be this connection. So I'm going to pull the cap, see if I can see if anything's amiss under there. It shouldn't be, and I'll get back to you when I'm done. I feel kind of silly, but it was my jumper wire that I've been using for 5-6 years now that was bad. So I've just replaced it with this red jumper wire. This should work now. We should have spark. All right, take 3. Almost. Where's my gas. Got a valve that's not perfectly seating. That's why it's popping through the carb. Wants to go, just not firing on enough cylinders yet to do it, but it wants to go. Oh man, it's close. Come on, baby. I did not check if the exhaust is clear. So let me check that, just to make 100% sure. Glad I checked. That's the exhaust pipe. It looks like it's 95% plugged off. So I'm just gonna cut it wide open, right about there, and we should be good to go. All right, let's give this another go. That pipe was almost completely plugged, and because it's so short, so close to the manifold, it was certainly a problem. Don't know if it was the whole problem, but it was a problem. So let's see what we get now. Seems a little better. Oh, man. Almost feels like it wants more gas. Okay, that's not good. Let me fix the hood. Okay, hood is good. It could very well be this fuel pump's not working either. And if so, it's only running off this gas and the gas in the bowl. Fill the bowl up again. In my opinion, we have some kind of carburation issue here. This carb may have to come off for a rebuild. Not cooperating. that was the longest yet. Okay, starter's starting to get hot, so I'm going to give it one more try, and that'll be it till I pull the carb apart. It ran. Yes. Woo! Okay, I'm going to let that starter cool a bit, but it ran. And I think it's going to run a lot more than that today. I want to test this fuel pump, and it's definitely working. So I can scratch that off the list. All right, we're going to give it another try now that I've proved the fuel pump is working. Come on, baby. It still seems like it's not getting fuel. So it could be that float's messed up. It was working when I had the carb off. Oh, it's getting close. Come on, baby.
Woo, that scared me.
Yeah, it's got some valve sealing issues. That'll clear though, for sure. We keep doing this, it's gonna clear. It's pretty much running.
Is it getting gas? I didn't know if it was.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's getting gas. I can't run it too much because there's no water in it. But yeah, it looks like the float's working now. Yep, no one has to panic that I got it too hot. It only ran for what, 30 seconds?
If that.
Woo! It runs, and it sounds good.
It has a neat sound to it. I'll say
does.
that. It's different.
It does. It's such a tiny little 6, and it does have a great sound. So now, gotta get some water in it. It's missing a radiator.
I know.
I wonder if I have a radiator around here I could throw in.
Well, the one we got for the burnt Chevy fit it. Still in the
Probably.
box.
Probably.
Shouldn't be in the box, but it is.
I wonder if, do we have a used one around here that leaks?
That leaks?
Yeah, just some crappy one, because there's not much room here. Ooh, this water pump's not that great either. So I don't want to put a brand new fan in here. I don't know, I'll figure something out, and we'll get back to you. All right, so we've got some water in here. I think what I'm going to do is put a hose on the water pump.
It's just pouring right back out.
Yeah, it filled up the block, and now it's pouring out. So I'm going to put a hose that sticks straight up so we can keep more water in it. Okay, so we got a makeshift radiator hose. This is actually an original hose for the car that was in the trunk. It's made of chewing gum now, but it's going to allow us to put that much more water into the block before it starts leaking.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you try that horn?
Nope.
Well, I was gonna say, if you did and it didn't work, there's probably a reason. Do you want to go down there and see?
Where? What am I looking at?
Right here.
Oh my God. Holy cow. Whoa.
It's completely plugged off.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
No.
All right, this ought to hold water for at least a minute or so of runtime. Full of water? Let's try it. Did I turn the gas on?
That was getting ready to say no, you didn't.
Well, that's why. Surprised it stopped. Look at that. Maybe we're wetting the plug wires so much that that could be that they're bleeding. Let me put something over that. It likes that kick. Beautiful. All right, it runs.
It does. Maybe I'll come out tomorrow and clean up a little inside for you. But only if you check that glove box.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Since it's running. Let's check the glove box. All right, ready? Oh, look at that. It even pops open. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anything underneath it. Let's get a screwdriver and just hold it up. Hold on.
Okay. Hope there's nothing in here.
Aww.
As far as
Oh, wait, I did think
animal
I did see a
goes.
paper underneath it.
Well, there's something
What
in
is
here.
that?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but it looks really cool.
Oh, you know what it is?
Yeah,
It's
I
an
do.
oil fill cap. Look at that one. STP. Oh, look at that. Studebaker on it.
Wow.
STP Studebaker.
That is so cool.
It really is.
That was worth opening that.
Yeah, and why isn't it on the car?
I don't know. Maybe because we needed to find something exciting there.
Yeah, because there's nothing in here but nuts in the mouse house. I think. Well, something. Yeah, that's it. That's all that's in here. How about the ashtray? Yeah, there's something in here.
What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Is it like a cutting blade or something?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. And a piece of trim screw and some gum wrapper. No evidence of smoking. I love this thing. Gonna be hard to part with it, but has to be done. This is old.
Wow.
Look at that. Pepsi payoff. We could probably date it from that. Pepsi payoff.
I mean, I don't even remember that when they had tabs like that.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah. Yep. These went away, I think, around 1980, around there. Catch the Pepsi spirit. That's an oldie. So one of the things I wanted to do to this as soon as I saw that the parts are in the back seat is put the headlights back in. So if you look over here, this side came out really nice. And this side, one of the buckets is wrong. You can see the headlights sideways and the bucket sticking way out. Maybe this bucket got destroyed or something. I don't know, but it's wrong. But at least it's in, and it looks pretty good. Next up is this door. It only opens about that much. And the reason is the car was hit right here. It kind of buckled the grill and it pushed all this back a little bit. That's probably when this got broken. So I'm not that great at fixing this stuff, but by luck, the Tri-5 Nationals were this weekend, and my friends Tom, Barry, and Ricky are on their way home, and they're gonna stop by for the evening, and they're gonna help me with this door.
That jack may not
It's
very good horizontally.
well, he's trying to do that number. Trying to walk a little bit, but all right, hold on a minute. Let's get that straight edge here.
Whoop.
Let's see what we got. What we're doing is eyeball it straight down.
Uh-huh.
Where, yeah, it's done pushed it, Ricky. Look here.
Yeah,
You see how it was
Yeah.
sticking out about 3/16 of an inch.
but
Now it's about flush.
but it needs to go. It needs to go about an inch further.
I know.
Yeah. What we're trying to do is release the fender at the bottom and move it forward to improve the crack between the fender and the door, so the door will open and close. The Jackman Tom, fastest Jackman that's ever been in NASCAR racing.
Stop. A little bit more. Come on. All right, stop.
Because we've got some clearance there.
Richard, you know what this is telling us? With everything we've done here, if we'll go back there to that tail light and kind of knock on it at the tail light, we'll probably be right where we need to be. You certainly putting a tweak in it. That's right.
Oh, we got this right here. What is this?
That's a chalk, a slide chalk. Okay. So if you need to load something with a stuck wheel.
Oh, no, we're just going to use this.
Richard, you were wrong. That's a body shop tool right there.
Everybody's up to.
Yeah, this is going to work. Yep. Somebody called Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
We need,
All right, pull that out a little bit.
we're going to replace Chip Foos.
Oh, God. With who? Sledgehammer Barrett? Let me bump on the that this time.
That's a good name.
Ooh, look at that. You're there. You're there.
All right, try to close that door now. Beautiful. It didn't touch at all. Look at that. So from now on,
Body shop tool.
a skid stop is an approved body shop tool. All right, let me tighten that fender up and we're done. So now, after all that work, It opens great. This car now starts easily. The doors open, the headlights are in, so we're pretty much done for this episode. But what should we do with this? Put it in the comments below. I'm a little torn. I really like this thing, but we don't have a lot of time for projects, and this is yet another project on the pile. So let us know what you think. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a good experience for me working on a Studebaker again, because it's been a while. And check out our merch at WTRmerch.com. You may see something there you like. And until next time, have a great day.